It's so easy to mock people who say they've seen a ghost. Where is it, you say? Can't you see it, comes the reply. You see, some people can see them, and others just can't. It's all perfectly normal when you're talking about ghosts. In these two ghostly tales, there's one story of a 500-year-old Norfolk hotel where three people are seen solid, full-size apparitions. And another story of a haunted hairdresser's in Hertfordshire where there's a lot of trouble with the lights. Well, we've taken Lizzie Falconer, our psychic medium, to both these places to investigate. And of course, we've told her absolutely nothing. Everything she reveals comes from her spontaneous psychic sense. Now, once upon a time, the Norfolk town of King's Lynn was a major seaport and well known to sailors, fishermen, smugglers, and fenmen for miles around. Just off the market square is the Tudor Rose, an historic hotel where there have been several ghostly sightings. Lizzie went to meet two former owners and a present-day customer.
There's clearly a strong presence here, and I'm also getting the feeling that there is a man here in this room. Very tall man. Does that mean anything to you at all?
The image of the tall man is something that
Right, okay.
I'm aware of.
Have you actually seen him?
Yes.
Yeah. And very clear as well, as if you wouldn't necessarily know that he was alive or dead. Do you understand that?
What I saw, the thing I saw was as clear as I'm looking at you now.
Yeah.
Absolutely as clear as that.
Yeah.
Steam out of the coffee cup clear.
Yeah. I'm also picking up on a dog, too. Picking up on a dog. There was a dog with the man, is that correct?
That is correct. My partner let our dog in, who's a manic collie dog, and she went straight to what I was seeing, and she had her head on his lap, and she never flinched, and that was totally out of character for that dog, and that was witnessed by at least 20 people, including my own family.
So where exactly was he?
In the corner over there.
Right, okay.
And he went from just sitting there, and then he was reading a paper and drinking coffee, and then I saw him without his coat and hat, and he had red slipperette shoes on, looked like he'd stretched his feet by the fire.
You were clearly shaken by what you saw.
I was rooted, not scared, upset, because I didn't understand why I was seeing something that nobody else could see.
Were there other people in this room?
The bar was working.
And you said, "Can't you see this man?" And no one else
I
could see him.
said to my partner, is that guy in the corner ever going to order a drink, something like that? And he said, who? I said, him.
The other thing I'm picking up on here is there was another man here as well who I pick up was dressed in black, possibly even a black cloak, and I'm seeing something on his head, like a three-cornered hat. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Could you tell me more about that?
I've seen him in the courtyard, and also further into the hotel opposite the reception. He used to come in, which would have been through a side door, and walk through doors and walk past. On this particular occasion, he was sweeping the snow, but the snow wasn't touched, and he'd just gone again in the middle of the courtyard.
Right, okay.
I'm in the courtyard, just walking through the archway. I was looking for somebody in this bar, and it was around 10 of an evening. I was aware of somebody walking from, which I assumed was that back door, towards the archway, so to come to meet me. I didn't really take much notice of them because my attention, obviously, as I said, was drawn to the bar. And I greeted him in, the custom way we do here, all right, and he ignored me. And I thought, miserable so-and-so, sort of went to turn round, and just out of my peripheral vision for seconds, and he'd gone, totally gone. And my first reaction was he fell down a hole or something, and I went to went to see if I could find him, went back in the street, and and I was, aware that it was obviously something strange going on there. You tell me, it was a weird one.
Sally, you've had an experience in this spot here.
Yes, I
That's
have.
correct, yeah. I am picking up on a female energy here as well. There's a lot of noise, a lot of laughter, and I'm getting a feeling that as if it wasn't just a spirit that you saw, but a whole scenario that you saw that was different. Could you elaborate on that for me?
Well, it was a really busy Saturday night. Restaurant was full, and I'd sent somebody to get some port. She seemed to be an awful long time, and I came to the top of the stairs to see where she was. Looked down the stairs, and I saw a girl in flowing gowns with veil, and I just stopped and looked, and as she came to the stairs, she looked at me. I thought the noise that I heard, the running noise of the stairs, was the girl that I'd sent downstairs. So I'm saying to her, "Where on earth have you been?" And as I spoke, she just disintegrated. She filled the whole stairway, and it was like lots and lots and lots of smoke. And then the girl that did go downstairs headed round the corner, and she said, "My goodness, all this smoke, is there a fire? There's loads of smoke." I mean, I could barely see her coming through the smoke. I mean, I told a friend. People afterwards, I didn't want to talk about it, but then I gradually sort of spoke about it as people used to talk about hauntings and things like that. And apparently it was a gypsy wedding. And the laughter and the noise that you're picking up on was, there was a party, but she had to marry this person in this story, and she was in love with somebody else, and he came to the wedding, and
She was looking for him.
he killed them.
He killed both of them.
A fight broke out between, I suppose, the bridegroom and the suitor, and she died. She died.
I found talking with Lizzie in here, it brought back a feeling to me of fear, an absolute temperature change within me, and I was scared at that moment. Whatever Lizzie felt or thought, she evoked something. She got through to something that had affected me deeply, enough to change my entire life. And I believe whatever I saw, and my partner Gordon believed at that time, that was the instigator of my life change, and me as a person changed completely.
Well, the experience I had in the yard, in the courtyard, having been confirmed by Sally subsequently, it sort of makes me feel better about it. I mean, I didn't sort of talk to many people about it because obviously people think you had one too many. I was absolutely sober.
I don't live here anymore. When I come back, although it's changed an awful lot, the spirits are still here. I can feel the spirits are still here, and I think they always will be.
I think a lot of people do have paranormal experiences, a lot more people than would readily admit to it. They feel
mainly, isn't it? Because the fear of being
ridiculed.
ridiculed.
That's the word.
Totally.
They feel
That's what I
ridiculed.
wanted to say.
And it can be normal,
Yeah.
everyday people. You don't have to be people who sort of feel prone to be spiritual or anything else. A lot of people do that or like to pretend they're spiritual
you say, it's
for
not.
some sort of kudos, but it can happen to anybody at all, totally unexpectedly.
So there you are. 3 people, each brave enough to admit that they'd actually seen a full-size solid apparition. I think that took some doing, don't you? In part 2, the story of a haunted hairdresser's. Do not go away. One of the recurring elements of many ghostly tales is the way that ghosts really do seem to resent anyone changing a building from how it had been. Imagine then what the ghosts of 2 cottagers felt when their ancient homes were converted to a modern hairdresser salon. We sent Lizzie to visit Henrik's in Royston. The staff were there to greet her. Mark Henrik, the salon owner, Kaylee, the salon junior, and Dawn, a hairstylist.
You experience all sorts of different things here, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm from feeling nausea, I'm getting there's a feeling of somebody feels sick here. I'm also getting a feeling of being touched or tapped on the shoulder. There's a feeling somebody's behind you, being touched or tapped, trying to get your attention. Something switched on and it switches
Yeah,
off.
definitely.
A lot of electrical stuff changes
we have
around
a lot
here.
of problems with the lights and that.
Okay.
But we've had electricians and that in, and there's nothing wrong.
Somebody's not very happy about you having this as a hair salon. Sorry. And I feel there's a male here who was very strict in Victorian sort of values. It's more to do with the fact that he sees all this as being frivolous, ludicrous stuff. That why on earth do women come out and have their hair done? That's the thing. But I am picking up on that as being the sort of general reason as why he's causing havoc.
Right.
It's excuse me, this is my property, and this is ridiculous. Women coming in and should be at home, looking after children, not having their hair done. I think there's just so much to come and see here, so I'd love to just have a look round, and perhaps you could, take me to the next room if that'd be all right.
Okay.
Right. The electrics going on and off is a very common thing to have happen. You're not imagining it, and
A lot of people do think we are.
yeah, well, you're not. You really aren't. So don't worry about that. You are right. But I feel there is a connection with where everybody worked in these cottages, which is what I'm presuming they were cottages or houses.
There were
Yeah.
2 cottages and a barn.
Right. Okay.
But they
We
were
think-
But they were all linked to one
yeah,
thing, weren't they?
almost. They were very similar businesses.
Right. Okay. There's definitely a link, and they all were linked with something to do with work. But I also feel there was some bloodshed. I do feel that there was some bloodshed of some form or other. I'm not sure yet, but it's a bit like a hide and seek game, this, and I feel that I'm getting warmer. Dawn, you've had a paranormal experience in this area, haven't you?
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
Well, it was a late Tuesday night, and there was just me and a junior left here to lock up. We started doing all of our usual end-of-the-day jobs, and Michelle went up one stairs, because they're joint.
So the stairs from the...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Turn all of the lights off, come down the bottom stairs on this side of the salon, and as she got to the bottom, all the lights turned back on again upstairs. And it was just completely unexplainable when there was only us 2 here.
Yeah. And has anybody else experienced something in this room?
There's been only one other experience where, again, it's been on a Tuesday night again, when there's only been like 2 of us here. And we've been locking up, and we're going to turn the lights off there. And you've got one light switch for this area, and the other switch is for that. This light was off, and that light was on. And we were flicking, and like the lights on and off, but they would not turn off. And it happened for about 10 minutes.
What they're trying to do is get your attention.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it, they need help. Should we go and have a look upstairs then and see what we pick up? So, one of you's had an experience on the staircase, is that right?
Yeah, me.
Okay, Kaylee. Well, look, should we go and sit on the stairs and then you can tell me about it? It feels very different in this area, actually. It really does feel very different.
Yeah, no, I was sitting on here one afternoon,
Yeah.
like, just chatting away to Mark and Lisa at the time, and all of a sudden there's a picture there now, but there was a mirror there at the time, and it just fell down, smashed open on my back, and like all the hooks were in the wall and all the strings still attached on the frame, everything. Like I didn't even have one scratch or bruise on my body.
It must have been a hell of a shock.
I was just like, oh my god, the whole rest of the day.
How awful. That's really scary
And
stuff.
when anyone sits on the stairs, anywhere within these lot, we always have the feeling that someone's watching over us. Like, at all, we all look behind us, all of us say it, that there's someone watching over us when we sit on the bottom of the stairs.
Oh, that's fair. I've just had heavy breathing in my ear just now. Very heavy. Like a...
Doesn't it freak you out though sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes if I'm startled, as anybody would be, if it happens and I wasn't expecting it, then you become startled. But I'm not frightened of ghosts, of spirits, because I find it very comforting to know that there's life after death.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like when we first got here, when like first things started to happen, all the girls was absolutely, scared stiff of it. But as you work with it, it doesn't bother you.
No, no. Shall we move on? This is where I feel that there's certainly a feeling of being watched and a feeling of seeing something behind you or in the mirror or whatever that might be. He's trying to scare you, and obviously, thankfully, you're not scared, which is great. You're not scared, are you, Kate? But I've got him talking in my... He's saying, I'm a God-fearing man. He doesn't like women.
One of the other mediums that we had sort of got help onto him, seeing as a male, that he could see him as a closet homosexual.
Right.
So that could be the thing why he hates women so much. Something like that.
He slit his throat because of it.
Say that again.
Apparently he slit his throat because of it.
Which would relate to the bloodshed.
Yeah.
I saw blood being spilt. That's what I saw. I literally saw, not just the expression, blood being spilt, I saw blood overflowing from something. I wasn't thinking out what it was. People were scared of him. People felt uncomfortable around him. But thank you very much for inviting me today, because it's been very interesting, and you really have a lovely salon that's beautiful.
Thank
and,
you.
And good luck with your business. Thank you.
When I first encountered something, I mean, I've always really believed in life after death, but I was really scared at first, because you just, although believing in it and hearing things on television, you just don't really fully understand it till it really happens, like, especially in a place that you go to every day to go to work there.
When the mirror fell off the wall, it's like, oh my God, what's just happened to me? It's just like, I was just really shooken up. Just felt like, oh my God, do I want to be here?
It's just the fact as well that you weren't hurt.
Yeah,
That was the thing that we
I
couldn't
didn't have one
understand.
scratch on my body. It's like the mirror just smashed open on my back. Where's my marks? There weren't a single scratch on me, and black glass was everywhere. So
I feel fine with it. It doesn't bother me in the slightest, but I don't know how you two feel.
I hate being here on my own because, well, I have come in a few times and all the lights have fused off, and I have to go down the cellar on my own, flipping back up. Is anyone here yet?
But I suppose we were all a bit scared or frightened at the beginning, but because it happened so much, you don't think nothing of it. But saying that, I wouldn't like to be here upstairs by myself at night.
Yeah.
You know, but you just get used to it.
You just keep telling yourself, don't you, that they're completely harmless.
That's it. They're fine. They're all harmless and that, and it's life, isn't it?
Makes work interesting.
Well, that's it. You never know what's going to happen, do you?
Yeah.
I couldn't help wondering if the ladies of Royston are aware that when they're happily having their hair done, they're being watched. That's it for this time. Sleep well. If you can.